my body's taking over me. It's destroyed my life. And this is pure hell. It really is.
You're still overeating. Follow what I'm saying?
I don't, because I'm not eating. And I'm tired of people telling me that I'm eating because I'm not eating.
Like a prisoner. My life is pretty much over if this is all that's left for me.
Buckle up, because Joe's experience was a roller coaster of emotions, setbacks, and, unfortunately, diet disasters that left us all a bit stunned. Joe Wexler's tale starts in Johnson City, TN, where at 31, he tipped the scales at a shocking 777 pounds. His battle with food wasn't a sudden one. It stemmed from deep childhood issues. Seeking his father's attention and not getting it pushed young Joe to find solace in food. Tragically, he felt trapped in his own body to the point of contemplating suicide.
My left knee popped real loud and the pain's unbearable.
Have you been in the floor this whole time, or were you able to get back up?
No, I've been in the floor.
We're sending them out there to you, okay?
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye. Being this size, I'm in excruciating pain all the time.
Joe's life became a cycle of isolation and shame. Even with the support of his sister Annie and his mom Robin, he felt incredibly alone. Battling congestive heart failure and diabetes, Joe was juggling about 13 to 14 medications daily. Can you imagine the burden of remembering all those pills every day? But how did Joe's life spiral to this point?
I absolutely despise it because I want to be independent.
Hey, how's it going?
Good, how are you?
I've seen better days.
I heard you went to the hospital this morning. How was that?
You know, they,
Looking back, Joe's relationship with food was deeply ingrained from his childhood. Spending time with his grandmother involved playing games and indulging in too much food, setting a pattern early on. By 18, he already weighed around 450 pounds. Was his grandmother unintentionally enabling his unhealthy habits?
It's hard leaving everything here behind.
so many things are running through my head. My mama's leaving behind everything to come and help take care of me. On the road we go. And I'm scared. What if I just can't do this? I want to believe that I can, because if I don't, I'm going to die. Greg, can we stop and get something to eat?
Joe's background didn't help either. Growing up in a chaotic family environment and experiencing significant losses like the deaths of his grandfather and father due to heart issues, Joe faced immense emotional turmoil. Each hardship seemed to drive him further into comfort eating. It's a classic case of using food as an emotional crutch, but let's see how it affected his quest for a healthier life.
One of the things that catches people a lot is stress eating or emotional eating. And when you do eat, always ask yourself the why. You know, the surgery's life-changing. And so you want to use this time to make some life changes and to prepare yourself. Okay, so now I want to show you something about labels. If we can look at this one here, you can see what I want you to zero in on these labels first of all.
On the show, Joe took a major step by meeting with Dr. Now, who set a clear goal for him: lose 150 pounds to qualify for weight loss surgery. Joe and his mother even moved to Houston to be closer to Dr. Now for better monitoring. However, when Joe found out he had gained 15 pounds instead of losing, the disappointment was palpable. But Joe didn't give up just yet.
This past month, I've gotten more depressed. I've told the doctor. He set me up with a therapist to talk to me and help me work through my emotions right now.
Recognizing Joe's struggles with emotional eating, Dr. Now recommended therapy. During one session, the psychotherapist suggested Joe list all his grievances as if he were writing a sermon. Ironically, Joe showed up to the session with a coffee and a cinnamon roll in hand, ready to tackle his issues but still caught in the grip of old habits.
A whole entire breakfast is 210 calories.
I'm very proud of you. That looks kind of like a lot of food, too.
I'm gonna push myself as hard as I can to get to the weight I need. It's high protein, no carbs.
You feel full now?
Oh Lord, yeah. Everything is riding on hitting my goal. I see the doctor next month, and I know this is my last chance.
In the end, Joe Wexler's story didn't have the triumphant finish we all hoped for. By the close of his episode, his weight had escalated to 704 pounds, despite his initial efforts. Gaining 15 pounds when he desperately needed to lose weight was a real gut punch, not just to viewers, but undoubtedly to Joe himself. It's a stark reminder of how challenging and complex the journey to health can be.
Today is the moment I retake my life and say, no more.
Today we're gonna go ahead and get the weight loss surgery for Joe. The most effective type of surgery for this size patient is gastric bypass. Turn the room lights off.
Betty Jo's journey is a wild ride filled with controversy, frustration, and those moments that just make you shout, really, at your screen. Imagine being a young girl already caught in the grips of food addiction by age 3. By 7, Betty weighed 200 pounds, and by 14, she had nearly doubled. It's a heart-wrenching start to life, isn't it?
I have taken on a lot for Betty Jo and do everything I can. Everything. It's hard.
My marriage with Josh is really difficult for us because of my weight.
It prevents me from having a real marriage because he has to be my caretaker.
Betty's childhood was scarred by intense bullying, the profound loss of loved ones, and abandonment. She opened up about some of the darkest chapters of her life, including being abandoned by her father and enduring a harrowing experience with a neighbor. The loss of her grandmother only deepened her emotional pain, sending her spiraling further into despair.
My life totally changed. I was sexually assaulted. I've always been happy-go-lucky, but after that, I wasn't even like myself anymore. I was angry, I was depressed, so I started eating more.
Betty Jo turned to food as her comfort, and through the process, just slowly got bigger.
Throughout these tumultuous times, Betty's mom stood by her as her rock. However, life threw yet another curveball, and circumstances led to Betty ending up in an epilepsy institution. Isolated and adrift, food became her unwavering companion, offering solace in the face of overwhelming loneliness and a spiraling depression. This marked a critical turning point in her life, setting her on a path she never expected to walk.
How to get an eating habit that's going to be sustainable? What's your biggest challenge?
I love anything that has to do with potatoes.
Who does the grocery shopping?
She makes the list, I go get the stuff.
So you are her enabler.
Basically, I've stopped trying to argue with her.
I'm concerned that her husband may be the biggest problem. He's an enabler, but he's not overweight, which means he's feeding her because he may want her to be.
In a desperate bid for change, Betty reached out to Dr. Now, clinging to the hope he might offer her a lifeline. But here's where the plot thickens. While Betty was all words, her actions told a different story. Her commitment to Dr. Now's diet plan seemed more like lip service than genuine effort. The gap between her intentions and actions was as wide as a canyon.
Well, that is a high-calorie food. What do you mean raisins, Brennan? It's been a couple months since surgery. Betty Jo, she should have at least lost another 60 pounds. The fact that she hasn't lost any weight means that she's overeating. Just pay attention to what I tell you, okay? If the calorie you take and the calorie you spend is equal, your weight will stay the same.
I have been kind of overeating because I have been a little depressed and stuff.
As we reached the final weigh-in, it became the moment of truth for Betty. Despite her claims of progress, she fell drastically short of qualifying for gastric bypass surgery, having lost only 2 pounds. This not only led to a clash with Dr. Now, but left all of us wondering if her weight loss journey would ever really take off.
And he did it.
I wonder, Josh, what are you thinking or feeling, or how has it affected you? The weight loss or the surgery, and just how has that changed your relationship?
I used to take care of her. be her caregiver, do what she needs. But now she's starting to just be able to move around and stuff, and in a way that really scares me because I don't want her to leave me.
Lately, he kind of...
In a dramatic climax, Betty's frustration boiled over. During a heated confrontation with Dr. Now, she was visibly upset and walked out in the middle of an appointment. This moment encapsulated the entire frustration of her journey on the show, leaving us all biting our nails and shaking our heads.
You know, a marriage like we were before I got this big.
It sounds like ultimately you both want to find a way to have like that happiness in the relationship together. Okay, well, it was nice meeting you today, okay?
Nice meeting you.
I think it helps understanding how afraid Josh is.
Betty's story doesn't just highlight the struggles with weight loss. It's a profound look at the battle against personal demons and the continuous struggle for self-improvement. Her journey is a stark reminder of how essential genuine commitment and resilience are in the face of adversity.
So I'm volunteering to help put together food bags for children in need.
So it's 2 applesauce, 1 carrot.
Yeah.
I want to give back because I spent so long taking. To be able to come down here by myself and do something to help others. I feel like I'm becoming more the person I want to be.
Now let's dive into one of the show's most inspiring yet challenging journeys. It's the story of Tanisha Cleveland, whose initial weigh-in shocked us all at 637 pounds. Tanisha's life was literally at a standstill, trapped within the confines of her home, dependent on a walker, and unable to care for herself without help from her family. But was she ready for the wake-up call that Dr. Now was about to deliver?
Taking over me, it's destroyed my life. I feel like it's taking everything away from me, everything. And I feel like I'm imprisoned in my own body. I do feel like a caged animal, I do. And it's something that's always hurting. My knees want to buckle. My back feel like it's broken. And it's just excruciating to even get up. I can't even make it to the bathroom to start my day.
Driven by a desire to play a more active role in her children's lives, Tanisha reached out to Dr. Now. During their first meeting, she opened up about her past struggles, including being an assault survivor, which she felt contributed to her weight issues. But Dr. Now, ever the straight shooter, challenged her not to let her past define her future, urging her, "Do not use your past as an excuse." It was the tough love she needed, and guess what? It actually worked.
I really doubt that you're going to make any significant changes from last time, but I'm going to give you a chance, okay?
Thank you.
Here's the list again. So you can go back to a 1,200 calorie a day diet. This is a list of all items of food that you need to avoid, okay? So you run out of excuses. Now it's time to change. And I want you to lose 30 pounds over the next one, just like the first time.
Okay.
Spurred on by Dr. Now's no-nonsense approach, Tanisha threw herself into her weight loss efforts with newfound determination. She hit the gym hard, tackling the treadmill like it owned her money. Her commitment quickly started to pay off. Under Dr. Now's watchful eye, she began shedding weight at an impressive rate. Her progress was so remarkable that, within months, Dr. Now gave her the green light for weight loss surgery. But how did this chapter in her journey end?
I'm a little frustrated right now because I'm working hard. And I don't know what else I can do to prove it to him. There's a part of me that's not sure I want to keep doing this or try anymore because I feel like I've done enough. But I have no other choice because I don't want to lose this chance.
By the time her episode wrapped up, Tanisha had lost over 133 pounds in less than a year. A phenomenal achievement by any standard. But she didn't stop there. Tanisha continued to push herself, and the results kept coming. Nowadays, she flaunts her transformation on social media, where she actively shares updates with fans and followers. While she keeps her full-body shots scarce, her glamorous selfies speak volumes of her confidence and the long way she's come.
But I've gone back to him twice and started over, and I failed both times. So I have no idea if he'll even consider me again, and that makes me scared to even try. So I'm praying God gives me the strength to at least fight for my life and try again.
Jesus love you.
I just need one more chance.
Tanisha now lives an active lifestyle and sticks to her diet and workout regimen diligently. She's well under 400 pounds and thriving, showing everyone that beauty isn't just skin deep. It's about the strength and spirit within. Her social media bio encapsulates her philosophy beautifully. Beauty is not defined by the shell of a person, it's the beauty within. Tanisha's story is more than just weight loss. It's about overcoming life's hefty challenges and transforming adversity into an advantage.
Sitting or relying on the wheelchair, so the standing for a long period of time is really challenging. Not wanting to go back to being dependent on others, being restricted from enjoying life and things with my children and just things for myself. That's what keeps me going. When I want a snack, that's what's keeping me from saying, nope, don't touch that. Don't go to the chips, grab a salad or something. So I think about those things. Getting this surgery is the miracle that I've prayed for so long.
Lana Reed, a 43-year-old from Mississippi, captured our hearts but also left us shouting at the TV a few times. Lana became a fan favorite after she showcased her struggle with weight while balancing life as a new mom. When she first appeared on the show, she tipped the scales at over 650 pounds, battling a host of weight-related issues. From the get-go, her challenges were monumental.
When I get up to go to the bathroom, I know that I'm going to be out of breath. And I dread it. When I sit on the toilet, I have to brace myself and make sure I don't fall into the toilet, because being my size, you break toilet seats. And bathing is a chore.
In her opening scene, we saw Lana, with help from her friend Virgie, struggling through a basic bathing process. Exhausted by just getting cleaned, she then sat down to a massive breakfast, a mountain of food that included 6 eggs, bacon, grits, pancakes, biscuits, toast, and more. Seriously, it was a feast that could easily feed 3 people. But with Dr. Now waiting in the wings, how would this affect her upcoming meeting?
And we never had a lot of money, but we were happy. My dad was the sole provider in the house, so my daddy worked all the time. But when he was home, he liked to spoil us. My daddy would have snacks in his room, and he'd have his Cokes and his cakes. And I remember he would bring me in there and let me pick whatever I wanted. I'd eat some of Daddy's cakes and drink some of Daddy's Coke and ice cream. So I started loving sweets.
Determined to turn her life around, Lana traveled to Houston to seek help from Dr. Now. Upon reviewing her records, Dr. Now was shocked to find that she had gained nearly 150 pounds since their last encounter 5 years ago. His advice was blunt and to the point. You don't have time now to waste. He even urged her to ditch the motorized wheelchair, but Lana countered with excuses about her eating habits, supposedly on another doctor's advice. Dr. Now was not buying it.
For my last appointment, I got a call from Dr. Now's office telling me he wanted to do a video call with me. So that's happening today. And I'm not really looking forward to having him see me because I'm just not feeling great about where I'm at. Times have been a little tough because Kendon has been struggling with her health and having a tough time breathing. So we've been getting her treated for that and taking her to the doctor. And it hurts my heart to see her like that. And I know she got those problems from me. So I hope Dr. Now is understanding of the situation I've been in and that I've just been struggling.
Dr. Now's patience began to wear thin, especially after hearing her excuses. His response: "You have eaten the food that belonged to the next 4 years ahead of time. So if you don't eat, you're gonna be all right." Despite this savage reality check, Lana struggled to stick to the diet plan, often complaining that the meal plan was comparable to dog food. Her resistance to change was clearly visible.
I've been thinking that it was going to be the weight loss surgery, but it turns out it's a journey just to get to that part.
All right, just give me all you got. You ready? Get it. Go. Come on.
My last weight loss on the work scale was 7 pounds. So that's better, but it's still not enough. So that's where Frank comes in. And I think this is really going to help having him work me out in a safe and comfortable environment.
The complications increased after she underwent breast reduction surgery, leading to major health issues and a prescription for steroid medication, which further complicated her situation. During the show, she joined Dr. Now's program and was motivated to follow a 1,200-calorie diet, exercise, and bring her weight down to under 200 pounds. However, her duties as a mother made her miss multiple appointments, and she didn't achieve her goal.
I'm saying that you're eating 4 to 5 times that amount, and you don't realize it. But even if you were just eating 1,200 calories, if you're not losing weight, then eat less. You understand that?
That made better sense because that made it more understandable because you made it to where not everything works for everybody.
Despite her best efforts, Lenithra lost less than 30 pounds by the end of her episode. At her final checkup, she was in disbelief about her weight gain, blaming a supposedly malfunctioning scale. Dr. Now, having exhausted all options, delivered one last dose of his trademark blunt advice, telling her he could no longer help her if she wasn't willing to help herself. He decided not to schedule any more appointments for her, a tough love approach to hopefully spark some self-motivation.
Make sure that I can be off for work, so haven't been able to make it down.
Okay, so even though you haven't made it down here, you still need to work with your diet and keep losing weight. But once again, you don't look like you lost any weight. So is your excuse for that still that you have too much going on that you have to deal with?
Yes, sir.
So how does having to do all that mean that you can eat healthy?
Because I've been dealing with all the stress that's been going on with me having to still care for my daughter and not really focusing on me trying to lose the weight. My focus just disappeared from the weight loss.
Thing that makes me feel all the ways I want to feel. So that means gastric bypass is the only hope I have to change.
You might be having a panic attack.
Please, someone help me, I'm gonna die.
Hell to be in this body. And I'm killing myself, and I can't stop it.
Get ready, because Angela Johns' journey is a roller coaster of emotions, excuses, and missed opportunities that really makes you think about the commitment needed to turn one's life around. Throughout her life, she struggled massively with obesity, favoring a diet that was, let's just say, more about junk food feasts than nutritious treats. But Angela's problems weren't just about her diet. She also had a strained relationship with her mom, adding layers of emotional stress to her already challenging life. It's like trying to swim with weights tied to your ankles.
My home. I used to leave the house maybe once a week, but now I'm mostly housebound because it's becoming harder to walk. My legs constantly hurt. So my daughter Desiree helps me. Desiree!
Determined to make a change, Angela reached out to Dr. Now, hoping for the help she desperately needed. But here's where things got a bit sticky. Despite her initial enthusiasm, Angela seemed to be looking for a miracle rather than a realistic path to weight loss. It's kind of like wanting to become a rock star overnight without ever picking up a guitar.
And I have to have what I want.
Are you done, babe?
So if we ever run out of anything, then Desiree needs to go to the store.
Because I can't do it for myself. You ready?
Yeah.
Here's the grocery list. All right.
I love you guys.
Love you.
After deciding to seek help, a worrying pattern emerged. Angela started missing her appointments with Dr. Now. And it wasn't just once or twice, she was a serial no-show, armed with an excuse every time. Dr. Now, patient as ever, kept extending olive branches, but even the good doctor's patience was wearing thin. I mean, how many chances can one person get?
The only one who isn't sure yet is Desiree. Mostly because her boyfriend Will doesn't want to do it. But I have to keep pushing it with her because I have to have an answer. So when she gets done with errands and getting the groceries, I'm gonna try to talk to her again. Because there's no more time for her to stay on the fence about it. Then honestly, I think siding with her mother and saving me would be the obvious choice. Desiree!
Everything.
So I need to know if you're on board with going to Houston, because your boyfriend is giving me about it.
The cycle of missed opportunities didn't end there. Angela's list of excuses grew longer by the day. First, she couldn't find a place to stay in Houston. Next, she was too ill and needed more time to recover. Meanwhile, she ghosted calls and messages for weeks on end. This left everyone, including us viewers, wondering if Angela would ever make her health a true priority. It's like watching a mystery show where the plot just gets more tangled with every episode.
I want to go to a store that I don't know about.
Whatever. I don't know where you're going, but you're getting up out of this room.
This room's in my name.
That'll be changed real quick, guy. There's something going on, something more. I don't know what it is. I think he's having dope fits, if you ask me. My daughter's the one that assisted me through everything. He doesn't do anything. I don't know, he's just there. That's my support group, my daughter. He's just convenient right now because he's driving. He's not my support group.
Dr. Now, known for his no-nonsense approach, clearly wasn't buying the excuses. When Angela claimed she had lost 120 pounds since their last meeting, skepticism was written all over his face. Without concrete proof, their discussions often turned tense, emphasizing the importance of honesty and genuine effort in this transformative journey. It's like Dr. Now was trying to find a needle in a haystack of excuses.
She's gonna live with friends, so she made her choice. And I'm trying to not let it be a rift between us.
Hello.
Because I feel like she's failing me when I need her the most, and I've always been there for her.
Say hi, Nana.
You're gonna come to see Nana. And I don't want this to tear us apart, but it's hard because I'm hurt. And I feel like she's being selfish. Nana's gonna go bye-byes. You know, Texas is kind of far away. I'm gonna miss you. I have to give you a bunch for 2 years worth.
Throughout this saga, Angela insisted she was making progress despite avoiding Dr. Now for 6 months and showing no real signs of improvement. The path she chose was riddled with frustration, not just for her, but for everyone rooting for her. It's frustrating when you see someone has the tools for success, but just can't seem to grab them with both hands.
You can tell yourself that, but this is behavior problem.
Yeah.
It's not anger.
Yeah, I have a behavior problem.
Try to convince yourself it is an emotional issue that is justified. You like to act like the whole world is unfair and you don't deserve your situation. So you want to give me attitude and act like this is unfair. Go right ahead. But the only person you're gonna hurt is yourself. And that's what you're doing right now. Because you have had 8 months at this point. And you still haven't shown me enough to convince me that you're ready to do the program.
Brandon's story begins with some tough circumstances right from his childhood. After his parents split due to his mom's alcohol problems, Brandon was raised by his dad. Life threw another curveball when his dad remarried, expanding the family with step-siblings. They often faced financial difficulties, leading to a life marked by poverty. This kind of start in life can really set the tone, folks. Brandon learned to eat whenever there was food available, haunted by the fear that it might not be there tomorrow. It's a heart-wrenching survival instinct that many of us thankfully never have to experience.
And I'm ashamed at how out of control I've let my body and size get. It's hard for me to even look at myself anymore because when I look in the mirror, I just see a monster. And I know that's what the rest of the world sees when they look at me too. All I have to do is take one step outside my front door, and then I can see on their faces, he's an animal, he's a monster. What is that? It's just embarrassing that I've let it get this bad because I can't stop eating.
Imagine this. As his health spiraled, Brandon was faced with making his son drop out of school just to help manage his care and the hefty costs associated with moving him around due to his size. Talk about a tough decision. But despite these massive sacrifices, Brandon's journey was complicated by his knack for manipulation, a trait that only added layers to an already complex situation. It's tough when you see someone fighting a battle, but also kind of fighting against those trying to help them.
But before I would go to my room, I would go and grab as much food as I could and take it with me. Because eating helped calm me down and helped block out what was going on outside my door. I was around 6 at this time, so my weight gain started early on. And I had gotten up to a little over 80 pounds around then.
I was scared for Brandon's weight. I thought he would outgrow it because a lot of the parents and my friends, their kids at a certain age had gotten heavy. And they said, oh, he would just lose it. You know, as he gets older, that would just go away. But with Brandon, it never did.
Over the next couple of years, my life changed a lot. Because around then, my mom had my younger brother, and then a little over a year later, my younger sister. And thankfully, fighting became less frequent then because my dad got into law school. He had been a bus driver in New York City, and we lived in New Jersey.
Brandon wasn't just fighting the scale. He often butted heads with the very people trying to assist him, including the infamous Dr. Now. Yep, Brandon turned out to be quite the challenge for Dr. Now, making him one of the most talked about patients. And let me tell you, not always for the right reasons. His stubbornness really makes you question what it takes to truly help someone in such a dire state.
And we hardly saw her because she had to constantly work and my dad was always studying. So all the fighting stopped because my parents just weren't around any longer. So I would say it was a better time in my childhood because of that. But it still got stressful for me because I had to look after my younger brother and sister too. I still used food to make me feel better. And by the time I was 12, I made it up to around 250. And that's when my mom started to take notice of how big I was getting.
Things escalated during a hospital stay under Dr. Now's vigilant supervision. Dr. Now warned that Brandon's body was teetering on the brink due to the immense pressure of his 840 pounds. But did Brandon take this life-saving advice seriously? Unfortunately, not really. He seemed to be waiting around for some kind of miracle cure rather than taking actionable steps toward recovery.
Not gonna get it at a fast food joint.
Right, that's the only thing with the whole diet. It's like, been pretty tough.
I'm glad you're doing it with me.
Yep, definitely need a partner.
Accountability.
Yep.
I have one more month before I go back to see Dr. Now and find out if I hit my goal. And I plan to make the most of that time to get as far along as I can, so that when I'm back on that scale, I'll be exactly where I need to get my approval.
And just when you think it couldn't get more frustrating, enter Brandon's girlfriend Lisa, caught red-handed by Dr. Now sneaking in food. At a point when Brandon needed to stick to a strict diet, this was a real facepalm moment. Dr. Now, frustrated by Brandon's lack of commitment to changing his lifestyle, had to make the tough decision to deny him the weight loss surgery. This moment was crucial, highlighting a hard truth about consequences and responsibility.
What's the first thing you're gonna start doing once you start to be able to do more?
I really want to get back to singing again. That's my dream. Do you like to sing?
Sing? No.
No?
I tried that many years ago in the shower.
Oh, okay.
So I'll stick to being a doctor. All right, you're doing great, and I'll see you both in a couple of months. If you need anything before then, let me know.
Okay.
Okay?
Wonderful. Thank you again.
Nice to see you again.
Thank you, Doctor.
Nice to see you.
Alicia Kirga's story isn't just a story about battling the bulge. It's a deep dive into the emotional struggles intertwined with such significant physical challenges. When Alicia first hit the screen, she weighed over 600 pounds, and life had shrunk down to just her bedroom. Quite literally, it's a small world.
Every day, I dread getting up because pushing myself out of bed each morning is the hardest part of my day.
From the tender age of 8, Alicia found comfort in food after a traumatic incident with a family friend. She thought getting bigger could shield her from harm, a sad reflection of how our minds can lead us down some tricky paths in search of safety. As if life hadn't thrown enough at her, her parents' divorce piled on, making food a reliable, albeit unhealthy companion. By her 30s, Alicia was battling severe obesity alongside a cocktail of mental health issues, lymphedema, and diabetes. Talk about a full plate!
But with it getting harder and harder, I know soon I'm going to need help just to do anything. My boyfriend Tim started living with me years ago, but I refused to let him help me shower because I've never wanted to be that burden. The thought of having to ask him for help to care for myself is mortifying. And I can't have him see me like this.
Then came Dr. Yunan Nozaradan, better known as Dr. Now. If you've seen the show, you know he's the kind of doctor who doesn't sugarcoat anything, probably because he'd make you work it off. Alicia reached out to him hoping his expertise could help her regain control of her life. Dr. Now set her up with a diet and exercise plan stricter than a high school principal, all aimed at getting her ready for bariatric surgery.
And I'm a little afraid I won't be able to do that. And the thought of moving away from my family and home is really scary. But it's exciting to start this new chapter in my life. I believe this is the best thing for me, and I think that in the end, it's all going to be worth it. And I just hope it'll be worth it for Tim, too. Because I'm asking him to change his entire life for me.
But changing habits that have set in like concrete, not so simple. Throughout her journey on the show, Alicia's battle with her diet was as evident as a donut in a gym. Despite her best intentions and Dr. Now's clear plan, those old habits clung on tighter than a cat on a curtain. By her last episode, Alicia had managed to lose 42 pounds, not quite hitting the 70-pound goal needed for surgery, but still, she wasn't out for the count.
I'm definitely starting to feel an improvement, but it definitely is still a struggle. The biggest struggle right now is the loneliness here. Tim got a job doing construction like he was back home, so he's gone almost all day. And I'm here alone. And it's hard with no one else I know to come see me. And when I feel like Tim's upset with me or I let him down, I have no one to share that emotion with. Except maybe my mom.
Alicia's unwavering spirit shone when she said, "I'll keep trying my hardest and hopefully I'll be in a good enough place to get surgery. I've learned a lot during this time." That's the spirit, Alicia! Updates on her progress have been scarce since the show wrapped, leaving us hanging like a season finale cliffhanger.
To want to eat, it's just about finding different ways to deal with it and to cope without needing food. Food was my comfort and my go-to, what helped to numb me. And I think that like the best way to try to describe it for someone who doesn't have issues with food to understand is just that if you think of like a drug addict, you know, like it's like I lost a best friend, but I still have to deal with it every day.
And just when you think the drama plateaus, there's a twist. She filed a lawsuit against the series. She claimed the show's team promised to cover all surgery-related expenses, but apparently left her with the bill. She also alleged that the producers manipulated psychological assessments and scripted what were supposed to be therapy sessions.
Emotional issues that will come up, but I'm committed to deal with those and not run from them.
Oh man, that's a great picture, isn't it?
I'm dedicated to hitting my goal and having the life me and Tim deserve and have wanted. And maybe someday soon, we can finally walk down the aisle. And that we'll both be ready for that because we're in a better place.
Would you like something hot to drink? Some hot tea or something, or what do I get?
Megan, who weighed in at a staggering 658 pounds at 38 years old, didn't just struggle with her physical weight. She carried a heavy burden of past traumas leading to significant weight gain from a young age. Megan's initial victory was jaw-dropping. She underwent surgery and dropped to 319 pounds. But here's the kicker. Keeping that weight off proved tougher than solving a Rubik's Cube in the dark. As time passed, the old habits that clung to her like a stubborn cat came clawing back, driven by unresolved traumas, and Megan's weight soared again.
But I do fix a meal when she wakes up because I know she's hungry. And as a mother, I don't want her to go without it.
I can't physically get up and do stuff just because my body hurts so bad because of my weight. I would love to be independent and not have to rely on anyone. I mean, I know it's a burden on my mom, and I hate that feeling. And it's getting worse every day because I feel like my legs are getting weaker.
By her late 30s, she was back to battling extreme obesity. But this time, she was armed with determination and a secret weapon. Dr. Now, the no-nonsense weight loss guru known for his tough love and even tougher diet plans. Navigating Dr. Now's diet was like trying to stick to a budget in a candy store. Not easy. The plan was strict, comprehensive, and, let's be honest, it would test the patience of a saint. Megan had to revolutionize her relationship with food, which was no small feat.
It's the best place in the world to me, and I wish I could get everything I have a craving for. But we can't afford that, so I have to be selective to make sure I get enough of what I want.
Please, honey. Okay. When we go grocery shopping, Megan will get upset with me when I tell her she shouldn't eat the sweets. You know, I'm trying to get her healthier snacks.
The tension hit a peak during one unforgettable meeting where Megan tried to defend her eating habits. Dr. Now delivered a reality check with the finesse of a sledgehammer, telling her, "So, chocolate is more important to you than living, apparently." That moment shook Megan to her core. Visibly shaking and nearly in tears, it was clear. Dr. Now's words hit home. His stern warning that without significant effort there'd be no surgery was the cold splash of reality she needed.
I'm very disappointed with Megan's progress. And despite what she says, she's still not taking her situation as serious as she needs, because she's clearly still overeating. And as long as her body remained under all the strain of having 600 pounds on it, something as simple as a cold.
Despite feeling like she was climbing Everest, Megan's turning point came about 5 months in. After initially shedding only 47 pounds and battling discouragement, she found her stride. Or should I say, her sprint. Inspired by Dr. Now's unyielding stance and realizing what was at stake, she doubled down on her efforts. By the 7th month, she had dropped another 47 pounds, making it a total of 94 pounds lost and finally qualifying her for the surgery.
Not that much, but it is something. So with all the effort they have made, I'm going to consider you part of the program. And if you want to commit to that, then you need to move down here and plan to stay at least a year. But that don't guarantee you for surgery, okay?
Okay.
Is that something you think you can do?
I can definitely do that.
All right, well, good. But remember, you need someone to be here with you to help you. So who's going to move with you?
My mom.
By year's end, Megan hadn't just undergone surgery, she had lost a total of 240 pounds. Thanks to Dr. Now's rigorous tactics and Megan's revitalized determination, she underwent a transformation that was nothing short of miraculous. It's a tale that doesn't just show the harsh realities of obesity, but also sparkles with hope and the promise of redemption.
Make sure I can move ahead and get my surgery, and I'm really excited for this, and I can't wait. This past month, I've just been working to try and stay focused on losing the 30 pounds I need to drop to get my weight loss surgery approval.
Megan's journey underscores a critical message. Tackling obesity is not just about shedding pounds, but also shedding the past. It's about the psychological overhaul just as much as the physical. Watching her transform was like watching someone find the light switch in the dark. It was illuminating. Remember, every step forward, no matter how small, is a step in the right direction.
And if I am, he said he would approve me for that today. So all that has me excited, but I'm just nervous and scared about the test and what the results might say about my health. Because I don't want my body to hold me back from getting the surgery I need to save my life.
So the doctor wants to do a few tests. Okay. So what I'm gonna get you to do is I'm gonna get you to change, okay?
Okay.
I'm so miserable. I never thought in a million years this is what my life would be like.
She does not care. I don't want to be alone.
I'm disgusted with myself. If I gain any more weight, it's a death sentence.
Chuck Turner's journey is a mix of drama, struggle, and some eyebrow-raising moments that left many of us questioning his honesty. If you're familiar with the show, you know it's all about real people facing incredible challenges, and sometimes they bend the truth a bit. Chuck Turner's story is a prime example of this. So let's see how his story unfolds.
It's hard for me to breathe. It's hard for me to stand. It's hard for me to get around. Oh, Lord. It's hard for me to do normal things. My weight's handicapped me. I hurt a lot. I got lymphedema on my leg. On a scale of 1 to 10, right now the pain's a 9.
Chuck was 45 years old and weighed a whopping 693 pounds when he began his weight loss journey. Living in Beaumont, Texas, his life was far from easy. His relationship with his wife, Nissa, was more like a caretaker and a patient than a loving partnership. Imagine that! Chuck shared that he wasn't always overweight but started gaining weight after the age of 30. And then, in 2006, his world shattered when his first wife was murdered. To cope with his depression, Chuck turned to food. Can you blame him? Food can be a comforting friend in dark times, but it can also become an enemy.
It changed everything. My wife was murdered. Yeah, it just floored me. She was a good person, my best friend. I just couldn't take it, so I turned to food.
What really got everyone talking wasn't just his size, but the inconsistencies in his story. Chuck claimed his weight gain was due to depression and a failed business. While these are undoubtedly tragic, something just didn't add up. It's like watching a detective show where the pieces don't quite fit together. The medical team and viewers noticed these discrepancies, making us all go, "Wait a minute, Chuck, what's really going on here?"
I shut the world out. Just locked myself away and ate fast food 3 times a day. Not really thinking about food, I just blanked my mind out. For a long time, I lost all concept of my weight. And then I went to the scrap metal place to weigh.
Chuck later married Nissa, and they decided to seek help from the renowned Dr. Now, the tough love weight loss surgeon. But here's where it gets interesting. Chuck's relationship with food was a major sticking point. He constantly denied overeating and swore he was following Dr. Now's strict diet plan. Yet his weight loss was painfully slow. It was almost as if Chuck thought he could outsmart the scale. But come on, we all know the numbers don't lie, and neither does Dr. Now, who's famous for his no-nonsense attitude.
But then I met Nissa.
When I met Chuck, he was around 600 pounds. He was very shy and didn't want to get out of the truck and introduce himself properly because of his size. I felt that I should give him a chance because I felt that all my relationships I felt had failed because of my weight, and I didn't want to judge him for his weight.
Watching Chuck's story unfold was a roller coaster of emotions. I felt a mix of frustration and empathy. On the one hand, it was maddening to see him not fully commit and be honest about his habits. But then again, who hasn't lied about sneaking a snack or two? It's tough admitting your struggles, especially on national TV. We've all told little lies to avoid embarrassment, but Chuck's lies were holding him back from a better life.
Being a single mom is one thing, but being a single mom, and there's another human being there, it's much harder.
I can't do my part of everything I'm supposed to do. And I want to provide for Nissa. Give her the life she deserves.
Our family won't last much longer if something doesn't change.
Remember that unforgettable scene where Dr. Now confronts Chuck about his diet? Classic My 600 LB life moment right there. Chuck's sitting in Dr. Now's office trying to convince him that he's been sticking to the diet and exercising. But Dr. Now, with his signature deadpan look, isn't having it. He pulls up the chart showing minimal weight loss and questions Chuck point blank. The tension was palpable. Chuck got defensive, throwing out excuses we've heard a million times. It's one of those moments that makes you want to reach through the screen and give him a reality check.
What do you think gastric bypass is going to do to your eating habit?
If you eat more than you need, it's going to make you hurt.
Surgery only does one thing. Keep him from eating a lot at one time. You still can eat all day and he can gain 10 pounds. You do the same thing?
Everything's fast food. He'll bring me the breakfast sandwich, some donuts, some apple fritters.
The fast food thing and not having time, all kind of excuses.
Chuck's progress was rocky from the start. By his second visit, he had only lost a few pounds, far less than what Dr. Now expected. By the third visit, it was clear he wasn't sticking to the diet. Despite numerous chances and adjustments to his plan, Chuck's weight loss was inconsistent. He lost some weight, but it was nowhere near the target Dr. Now set for him. Frustrating, right?
It's a constant battle. He eats enough to feed 20 people.
Enjoy anything else? Are we okay?
Thank you.
Sometimes I eat stuff I shouldn't eat. I realize it's killing me. I gotta do something about it. But I'm a person that don't like change.
Despite the ups and downs, Chuck was eventually approved for gastric bypass surgery. Now this is a big deal. Gastric bypass isn't a magic fix. It's a tool that requires a strict diet and lifestyle changes. Chuck's post-surgery journey was still a struggle. He had the same old challenges of sticking to a new way of life. Imagine having this life-changing surgery and still battling the same habits.
Surgery for me is like closing the casket on the 700-pound man. I'm doing this, number one, so I won't die. Number two, to make my wife a lot happier.
Can I pray with you?
You don't have to.
Come on. Dear Lord, thank you for this day.
Things took a dramatic turn when Nyssa felt Chuck wasn't supportive and took out his anger on her. She left him, which became a wake-up call for Chuck. This motivated him to turn his life around to win her back. And guess what? As he underwent surgery to remove massive lymphedema from his leg, Nyssa came back, and they reconciled. By the end of his episode, after a year, Chuck weighed 343 pounds, losing a total of 350 pounds.
With a doctor like I need to, I'm not gonna be able to get my lymphedema fixed. I'm not gonna be able to get my skin removed. I don't have nobody to take care of me. She don't care. She does not care. I love that baby. Stop thinking about him. She shouldn't let me go like this.
But that's not where the story ends. A 2015 Where Are They Now? Episode revealed that Chuck managed to maintain a healthy weight. He did have a setback, gaining back 20 pounds, but he got back on track. By the 2-year mark of working with Dr. Now, he was under his goal weight of 250 pounds, weighing in at 243 pounds. His next target? 200 pounds. Talk about determination.
Now get your behind back in there, boy.
These are the precious moments with my son that I could never imagine, and now they're coming true.
Are you having fun?
I am truly blessed.
I love you.
Charles, will you say grace?
Lord, bless my family and bless my beautiful wife for everything she's done today. In your name, amen.
If you love reality TV with a dash of mystery and frustration, then James Jones's journey on the show is one for the books. Imagine facing your demons while getting caught in a web of your own making. That's James's story in a nutshell. So let's dig into how things unraveled for James, a man who started his journey weighing a staggering 728 pounds. Living in South Carolina, his life was overshadowed by his immense size. Sadly, his story started in a way that's all too familiar to many.
My knees would just ache, joints like they just grinding. Try not to move about as much as I can. I just get out of breath. Feel like I'm gonna pass out.
James wasn't always overweight. He was active and fit during his younger years, but then life took a sharp turn. First, he lost his father, who was his pillar of support. Grief-stricken, James turned to food as his coping mechanism. We've all had those moments, right? Where does a tub of ice cream feel like the only solace? But for James, this comfort food spiraled out of control.
Dad struggled with his weight. When he passed away, he was in the mid-400s.
It hurt him when his daddy died, but when his sister died, 6 months later, James almost lost it. Him and her were almost like twins.
Enter Dr. Now, the no-nonsense weight loss surgeon from Houston, Texas. James decided to visit Dr. Now after realizing his life was slipping away. His first meeting with Dr. Now was, well, a major reality check. Dr. Now, with his usual bluntness, didn't sugarcoat anything. He laid it out straight. James needed to change his lifestyle drastically if he wanted to survive. Dr. Now advised James to follow a strict diet, cutting out all the junk food and sticking to a high-protein, low-carb regimen. It was literally a do-or-die situation.
James is not going to be able to survive much longer at this way. Things have to change. They have to change now. But he's over 700 pounds. He's very high risk for surgery. You can't have surgery when you're 730 pounds. So we need to make changes on the diet. He needs to lose at least 50 pounds before we can do surgery on him.
James's progress, however, was a roller coaster. But despite the setbacks, Dr. Now decided to give James one last chance. He approved him for weight loss surgery, but made it clear that without a significant change in his habits, the surgery would be pointless. James underwent gastric bypass surgery, a massive step for anyone on this journey. But as we all know, surgery isn't a magic fix. It's a tool that requires strict adherence to a new lifestyle.
I can't fail because there's a lot of people that I don't want to disappoint. So I'm ready for this. But my fear is just not being able to wake up. That's some nice big deep breaths in that out.
Post-surgery, James faced the same old demons. His eating habits were hard to kick, and the battle was as much mental as it was physical. By the end of his episode, aside from a few minor setbacks and cravings, James managed to lose a considerable amount of weight, 352 pounds to be exact. And in an uplifting twist, he also started a relationship with Summer, a woman he met online. Now that's some progress, mate.
And having a good time. Things seems to be going pretty good. I'm enjoying myself, and it seems like Summer's enjoying herself. That's all that matters. Just kind of nervous being out there on the dance floor for the first time in about 20 years. Man, that was so cool.
That was cool. Thank you for inviting me.
You're welcome. I'm glad you come.
I'm glad you danced with me.
Chay Galori wasn't always overweight, but her struggle with weight started in childhood as a way to cope with bullying and teasing. Food became her escape, a comfort from her daily emotional pain. And come on, who hasn't turned to comfort food when feeling down? But for Chay, this coping mechanism spiraled into a dangerous habit. Imagine relying on large pizzas, burgers, and gallons of soda to get through the day. It's like a calorie bomb every single meal.
I've always loved food. I had a very dark childhood. My mom and my stepdad, they would get drunk and they would take their frustrations out on me. My mother told me the only reason I was born was because the condom broke. That made me feel like I was absolutely worthless. Like I should have never been born. I can't tell you how many nights I prayed to God and asked him just to take me. I felt like I didn't belong. I felt like I was a burden.
After realizing her life was at risk, Chay decided to seek help from the famed weight loss surgeon, Dr. Now, as he's commonly known. If you've seen the show, you know Dr. Now doesn't mince words. During their first meeting, he gave Chay a blunt wake-up call, telling her she needed to drastically change her lifestyle to survive. He prescribed a strict diet plan focused on high-protein, low-carb foods and cutting out all the junk. Tough love, but it was necessary. And you know what? It's easy to sit on the couch and think, I could do that. But let's be real, change is hard.
You think gastric bypass will be the only solution for you to control your eating habit?
Yes, sir.
But if you're gonna eat potato chips after surgery, you're not gonna lose weight either. You see this as a quick fix, and that's not good. You're using food to cope with life, and that is a core issue that you need to address. So I want to see you take control of your eating before we do weight loss surgery.
Now, let's talk about the UPS and downs of Chay's journey. At her second checkup with Dr. Now, it was obvious that she was struggling to stick to the plan. She lost some weight, but not nearly enough to impress the doctor. And if you're like me, you were probably yelling at the TV, "Come on, Chay, you can do this!" It's those moments that make you feel so invested in these stories. We see her struggle, we feel her frustration, and we cheer for her to succeed.
It's been 5 months and you have lost almost no weight. Why is that?
I mean, I just tried to stick to the diet as best as possible and eating right.
This doesn't make any sense at all. Reality is that you're eating too much, plain and simple.
Well, I've been eating low carb. I even started making my own wheat bread so I wouldn't have to eat white bread.
Okay, for your information, wheat bread and white bread have the same amount of calories.
I didn't know that.
Chay is not in a place to control his.
Chay's hard work started to pay off. She had lost enough weight that Dr. Now decided she was ready for weight loss surgery. This was a huge milestone. I mean, we all know surgery isn't the end of the battle, but a new beginning. After surgery, Chay faced the same challenges, but this time with a renewed determination sense. Her eating habits had to change drastically, and the mental battle was as fierce as the physical one.
See, you did great with your weight loss. I feel like you're ready for surgery. Chay is unwell over the past couple of months. He's not running to food to deal with his emotions. That's good progress. So I'm going to go ahead and schedule it.
Okie dokie.
Yes. Thank you, Doc.
Thank you.
He has a long journey ahead of him.
So, how did it all end? By the conclusion of her episode, Chay had lost an impressive amount of weight, nearly 200 pounds. It's a story of perseverance and transformation, filled with UPS and downs, moments of doubt, and incredible triumphs. It makes you think about your own life and the challenges you face. If Chay can turn her life around, maybe we can all find a bit of that strength within ourselves too.
But I've been resisting pretty well. The cravings are still there, but they aren't as bad.
Chay, you have come a long way. You're doing very good. I'm proud of you.
I'm hoping that it'll get better as I deal with my emotions more and more. For the first time, I feel like I'm starting to get my life.
Milla's story began in 2016, when she was 47 and weighed a staggering 751 pounds. Can you even imagine? She hadn't stood up in over 2 years due to a severe condition called lymphedema, which had developed when she was 40. This not only left her immobile, but also forced her 5 children into the role of caregivers. Her husband Elroy also had health issues and couldn't provide much help. It's hard to wrap your head around the emotional and physical toll this must have taken on her family.
All I can do is eat and sleep. And every night I fall asleep thinking that I'm not gonna wake up. And then when I wake up, I'm thinking, I made it. You gotta make the bus, let's go. I'm trapped here and I can't even take care of myself. So my children have to do everything for me.
Desperate for a solution, Milla turned to Dr. Now Zaradan, or as we all know him, Dr. Now. This wasn't just a solo mission. Milla and her whole family moved from Fayetteville, Tennessee to Houston, Texas to join Dr. Now's rigorous weight loss program. Talk about dedication. It's amazing to see that kind of family support, isn't it? Having loved ones by your side during such intense health journeys can make all the difference.
It's very dangerous for a patient her size to travel down without any medical supervision. So we want to get her in immediately and see if she's okay. Hello.
Hi, Dr. Nazarnan.
How are you?
I'm fine.
How is your ability to move around or stand up or do things?
I'm not able to stand at all, doctor.
All right, so we need to get you out of here and let me go make arrangement for that, okay?
Yes, sir.
Speaking of intense, their first meeting with Dr. Now was quite a reality check. He laid out a strict diet plan and made it clear that Milla needed to lose weight on her own before any weight loss surgery could be considered. It must have felt like climbing a mountain. Initially, her progress was slow. Her first post-diet visit showed minimal weight loss. Can you imagine how disheartening that must have been for her and her family? Dr. Now didn't hold back his disappointment and stressed the importance of sticking to the plan. But hey, sometimes tough love is necessary, right?
There's a lot of young kids that bring her food. At their age, they don't know any better. So Milla has created a very bad situation for herself. Let's check your weight real quick. Okay, you're just about 750 pounds. Milla has a lot of issues that we need to address before she's ready for any weight loss surgery.
Despite the rocky start, Milla's determination was incredible. After losing 110 pounds, Dr. Now removed her lymphedema, which took an additional 43 pounds off her body. That's a whopping 153 pounds in total. This was a massive milestone. But the journey was far from over. Dr. Now's next goal was to get Milla out of bed, a crucial step for qualifying for weight loss surgery. Milla's fear of falling was a huge obstacle, so she sought therapy to understand and overcome her fears. Therapy for physical health? Now that's a full-on battle.
The mass on her leg is extremely heavy, and it's been like an anchor preventing her from getting up and walking around. So this removal today is going to be the most significant step in regaining her mobility and allowing her to get to a place where she's ready for weight loss surgery. She has a long way to go, and this is her first big step to get there.
The therapy sessions paid off. After a year of hard work and perseverance, Milla finally stood long enough to be weighed, revealing she had dropped down to 598.8 pounds. That's right, under 600 pounds. What an accomplishment! It's amazing what you can achieve with sheer willpower and the right support. This part of her story shows that even when the odds are stacked against you, there's always a way forward.
It's been 12 months, and Milla is finally able to put weight on her legs. And so I'm going to approve her for weight loss surgery and schedule her for next month. Now that you can stand up, we're going to approve you for your weight loss surgery.
I'm so happy. I'm really ready. You will not be disappointed. I'm not going to be disappointed. Thank you.
All right, I'll see you later.
That's good, that's good.
Oh, come over and lift.
He's on the breathing machine.
I'm living in a nightmare. Something has to change or I'm going to die.
I've given up the best years of my life to addiction and illness.
Have you ever wondered what it's like to be on the receiving end of Dr. Now's tough love? That's exactly what happened to June Mckame. June's life was a constant battle, struggling with severe lymphedema and weight issues that brought her face-to-face with DR. Now's no-nonsense approach. Imagine being so restricted that even a trip to the bathroom becomes a major ordeal. That's exactly what June faced every single day. Her mobility was severely limited, and at nearly 600 pounds, she couldn't accomplish most tasks without her girlfriend's help. But wait, things get even more intense.
I'm in pain. I'm breathing heavy, and it just hurts to sit up. The weight is too much.
You'd think battling lymphedema and weight issues would be the toughest part, right? Wrong. The opening scene of June's episode showed just how challenging her daily life was. We watched as she, with the help of her family, struggled through the simplest of tasks, like bathing. Just getting cleaned up left her utterly exhausted. And what did she turn to for comfort? A breakfast that was frankly a mountain of food. A feast fit for 3 people. I mean, seriously, who wouldn't be overwhelmed by that? But how is this going to affect her meeting with DR now?
It was so difficult even to get in the tub. And then I can't stand up for long.
Determined to change her life, June packed up and traveled to Houston to seek Dr. Now's help. Now here's where it gets jaw-dropping. Dr. Now was shocked, no, floored, to discover that June had gained nearly 125 pounds since their last encounter 5 years ago. His reaction? Pure bluntness. You don't have time to waste now. He urged her to ditch the sport, but June countered with excuses, claiming another doctor advised her to eat more. Yeah, like DR. Now was going to buy that. Spoiler alert, he didn't.
To your medical chart, you had a number of medical issues.
I had a heart attack in 2011.
And you had a stroke?
Yeah, I had a major stroke in 2010.
And you're taking about 18, 19, 20, 21 medication.
Yeah.
That really concerned me.
Watching June make minimal progress must have been so frustrating for DR. Now, she constantly criticized the hospital food and cheated on her diet with fast food. After 5 months, there were no significant signs of weight loss. Dr. Now had seen enough and decided to admit her into the hospital for a strict diet and close monitoring. But guess what? June's cooperation was less than stellar. Surprise, surprise, right?
To be on almost zero carb, high protein diet here in the hospital for the next month.
I do have one question. You said no fruit. What about strawberries? Maybe once or twice a day? Only one or two?
We want to eliminate sugar as much as possible.
The strawberries, I'm being very honest with you. Strawberries are my addiction.
I don't think June grasped the gravity of her situation.
As you can guess, Dr. Now's patience began to wear thin when June said, "No, baby, I will not agree with you." Dr. Now's savage reality check. If you don't follow what your doctor says, you should go see somebody else. Ouch. That one had to sting. Despite this, June struggled to stick to the diet plan, often complaining that the meal plan was comparable to pet food. Her resistance to change was glaringly obvious.
You are not letting your diseases go away is bothering me.
Sweetheart, I'm gonna be honest. I don't agree with you where I'm holding on to a disease. No, baby, I will not agree with you with that.
If you were really serious about this, I would see evidence of that. Your walker is a good example. You don't need the walker, you want the walker. If you're serious about being active...
By the end of her episode, June had managed to drop down to an impressive 389 pounds, thanks to Dr. Now's relentless efforts. Even though she still had more weight to lose, she found herself happier and healthier than ever before. Now, if that isn't a testament to Dr. Now's tough love approach, I don't know what is. So what do you think about Dr. Now's methods? Ruthless or necessary?
I'm doing so much more on my own right now. And I've made more progress in this past year than I thought I would ever do. A year ago, the thought of being able to go out and even fit in a salon chair was just a dream. Oh my goodness. Now I'm living that dream.
You won't believe the ruthless moments from Dr. Now on My 600 LB Life that have everyone talking. Donald Shelton's journey, which began over 12 years ago, is one of the most unforgettable stories from the show. Donald's path was anything but smooth. From emotional highs and crushing lows to shocking twists. Let's dive into his incredible story and see what made Dr. Now's interventions so memorable.
Just being a big person, I can't just get up and walk around like most normal people can. Too big for my legs. I can't walk very far because of my weight.
Now, Donald's journey wasn't a walk in the park. He was battling congestive heart failure and diabetes, managing 13 to 14 medications daily. Can you imagine juggling that many pills every day? It's mind-boggling. But what brought Donald to this point? His struggle with food began early in life. As a kid, he found comfort in food, especially when spending time with his grandmother, who unintentionally enabled his eating habits. By 18, Donald was already tipping the scales at 400 pounds. Did his grandmother's influence play a role in his weight issues?
I'm concerned with his weight. Always. When Donald was little, him and his brother, everybody thought they were twins. But then Donald just started getting bigger and bigger.
Age 5, I was 150 pounds. 16, I was pushing 275. When I was 19, I was about 400. After I got that age, it was too hard to...
Digging deeper into Donald's life, we see more challenges. Growing up in a single-parent household and losing close family members to heart-related issues added to his burdens. Losing his job due to his heart condition only made things worse. When life got tough, Donald turned to food for solace. How did these hardships shape his journey to health? It's a question worth thinking about.
Bad cellulitis. I'll be able to do a lot more stuff if my legs wouldn't hurt so bad. If I lost the weight, they would clear up.
He don't want you to help him, but he knows that we got to help him.
He can't get up, so I bring his food to him. I help him get dressed. He has to have his clothes washed.
Because he can't do it on his own. He's too big.
Things got even more intense when Donald lost his job because of his heart condition. At this crucial turning point, he sought help from Dr. Now, weighing a staggering 702 pounds. Dr. Now put him on a strict 1,200 calorie diet and an exercise regimen, aiming for an 80-pound weight loss in 2 months. But sticking to this plan was no easy feat for Donald. Could he really commit to making such a drastic change?
So, how you doing? Any question, anything you need to know?
Just ready to go.
Anybody here with you?
Oh, plenty.
All right, we'll get you fixed up.
Nervous now. Hope everything goes all right.
Being 675 pounds, this does make Donald to be high risk for surgery.
Donald's life was incredibly complicated. His weight brought severe health concerns, including extreme lymphedema. Standing for more than 30 seconds was a challenge, and the constant fear of falling loomed large. If he fell, getting back up was nearly impossible. He even wore grip socks in the shower to prevent slipping. Can you imagine living with such intense fear every day just to keep yourself safe?
Very well.
He's doing okay. He's got some ice chips and raising up his legs a little. He's complaining mostly about his leg. He's done good after the surgery. I'm glad he made it through it okay.
When Donald first sought Dr. Now's help, he weighed 675 pounds. Unlike many others on the show, Donald wasn't just battling food addiction. He was also struggling with drug addiction. Both issues severely impacted his confidence and pushed him to seek a healthier life. Despite these challenges, Donald managed to drop 392 pounds following his gastric bypass surgery. It seemed like he was on the right track, but there was more to come.
You know, they wanted to move him to San Antonio. That's when family got together and knocked down walls and brought Donald home instead. That's the whole place where he had the gastric bypass. He weighed 675 pounds. He broke the bathtub. This got to come out. This used to be 2 rooms, but we made it into 1. This wall went from here.
Just when it looked like things were improving, Donald was diagnosed with Guillain-Barré syndrome, a rare disorder where the immune system attacks the nerves, causing weakness and tingling in the hands and feet. This diagnosis was a huge setback, leaving Donald unable to walk and confined to a wheelchair. Despite this, he remained determined to achieve his goal weight. Can you imagine the resilience it takes to keep fighting after such a diagnosis?
Not moving, so we're getting updated x-ray and a CAT scan.
He can tilt his chair back and then y'all can lift him up.
Last time I saw Donald, he was getting heavier. Donald, in the past year, he has gained approximately 100 pounds. He was down to 200 pounds, now he's up to 300 pounds.
Donald's story is a roller coaster of emotions. His determination in the face of such immense challenges is inspiring. Even though he regained weight due to his illness, his spirit to keep pushing forward is something we can all learn from. How do you think you would handle such a situation? His story reminds us that no matter how tough things get, perseverance can lead to incredible transformations.
I'm excited to be working out again.
Okay, this is number 10. We're gonna do 5 more.
Okay. I'm ready to get the weight off that I put back on, and it gets pretty hard, but I ain't giving up. I'm here, I'm doing it, and nothing's gonna stop me.
No more setbacks. So it's straightforward now.
799.
When we first meet Gideon, he's over 650 pounds and desperate for help from Dr. Now in Houston, Texas. Gideon was ready to change, and with the support of his wife Kayleigh and son Jonathan, he took a brave step towards reclaiming his health. Now, let me tell you, Gideon's journey wasn't smooth sailing.
When I wake up, I instantly feel pain all over my body.
My weight puts pressure on me, makes my back hurt. My legs swell, and it's a constant battle to catch my breath.
His childhood was anything but stable thanks to his father's alcohol addiction and intense family conflicts. Losing his father at just 8 years old only deepened his emotional reliance on food. Food wasn't just sustenance for Gideon, it was his escape, his comfort from all the pain and chaos.
Food has always been a comfort for me. When my parents got divorced, I was about 8 years old.
That definitely is when I think everything kind of went downhill for me, emotionally.
I remember not really understanding, but I knew I felt better when I ate.
But wait, the hardships didn't stop there. At 11, while in the care of a family friend, Gideon experienced physical abuse. Tragically, he kept this ordeal to himself and turned to food for solace. It's a heart-wrenching reminder that no child should ever have to seek comfort in such a way. Can you imagine carrying that kind of burden?
I turned to try to find some type of calmness.
By the time I was 12, I was already so big that I had to buy my clothes from the big and tall section in the men's department. And my weight was a constant source of ridicule with my stepmom. And she didn't really want me around at all, so she would send me to fat camp.
I remember the stigma of embarrassment attached to the whole situation. But regardless of what I did, there was never weight loss.
Gideon's move to Houston with his family marked a new chapter, but the strain on his marriage was evident. Kayleigh was exhausted from being his full-time caretaker, and she was ready to leave if Gideon didn't take his health seriously. Gideon had to face the music. Listen to DR now or lose everything. Thankfully, he chose the former, and while his weight loss wasn't as fast as he hoped, he lost enough to qualify for bariatric surgery. Can you believe the transformation from 650 pounds to 429 pounds? That's almost half his starting weight.
And then I eat maybe one small meal during the day. Like I'll go through fast food, get like 2 hamburgers, 3 cookies.
So you call that small meal?
Well, I mean, compared to like my dinner meal, it's smaller.
Well, for a typical dinner, what do you usually have at home?
We usually have quick meals, so like spaghetti, because I do work late.
So who does grocery shopping?
I do, typically. Yeah.
Now here's where it gets even more interesting. Post-surgery. Gideon initially felt great, but soon found himself more lethargic than ever. This lethargy stalled his progress, leaving him stuck at a higher weight than he wanted. He continually dozed off, frustrating Kayleigh to the point where she threatened to leave him again. Talk about a wake-up call. With his relationship on the line, Gideon prioritized his health and continued his weight loss journey. Sometimes it takes hitting rock bottom to push you forward, right?
Biggest concern with Gideon is most of his weight is in mid-portion abdomen. So it's going to be challenging to do gastric bypass on him. We can turn the room light off. Gastric bypass surgery is a weight loss surgery that we reduce side of the stomach about 90%. We create a small pouch and we hook that to the small bowel.
As Gideon started losing more weight, his relationship with Kayleigh seemed to improve. They even welcomed a daughter in 2017, which temporarily put their issues on hold. But let's be real, life isn't always a fairy tale. Despite their best efforts, the couple's relationship remained rocky for several years. By 2020, Kayleigh posted on Facebook that they had decided to divorce. It's a tough pill to swallow, especially after all they'd been through together. But hey, sometimes things just don't work out, and that's okay.
Oklahoma, living with Kayleigh's parents for a couple months, and I still feel tired and just drained all the time.
feel like I need to do something to repay my in-laws, though. So I got a list of chores of things to do around the house. How do I turn it on?
We have water.
I'm like a kid right now that has to have his hand held to do things.
Imagine starting your day with a massive breakfast that could make a linebacker blush, all before even brushing your teeth. For Justin Mwain, food was more than just flavor. It was his main comfort through the toughest times, especially as he grappled with his own body. Even something as simple as taking a shower was a battle due to his size, turning daily hygiene into a huge ordeal. But how did Justin get to this point?
I've gotten so big now, doing just about everything is difficult. Every day it gets harder to move, harder to stand, harder to walk, and harder to breathe. So it takes just about everything in me to finally convince myself to get up, because I know how bad it's going to be. But it's a struggle, and I have a lot of anxiety.
When we rewind to Justin's childhood, we see where his struggles began. Living with his stepmother, who would padlock the food and berate him for overeating, set the stage for his complicated relationship with food. Therapy later became key to his weight loss, but early on, food was his constant companion. With his parents' complicated relationship and eventual divorce, Justin often found solace in endless snacks and meals, leading him to weigh over 100 pounds by the time he was just 6 years old. And it didn't stop there, especially during his school days.
With food started really young, because my early childhood was hard. I didn't fully realize it at the time, but my mom developed a drug problem. She hurt her back, and with that got addicted to painkillers. And when they stopped her prescription, she eventually started going to harder stuff like heroin. But as a child, all I knew was that my mom started to become unreliable.
As Justin grew older, his eating habits became even more intense. By 5th grade, he was devouring large pizzas by himself. As an adult, his diet was a mountain of fried meat, bread, and bowls of potatoes, accompanied by a steady stream of sodas, energy drinks, chips, and candy. Can you imagine living like that every day? Grocery shopping was like throwing a mini party every time the groceries arrived. Ice cream, soda, chips, ribs, and steaks filled his list. But did Justin ever stop to consider a healthier path?
And as long as I have my mom and food, everything is good.
Yeah, good boy.
But when I'm done, and my mom has to leave, it's like my whole life comes crashing back down on me. And the depression and fear sets back in. It was good.
I know it was. Finn, I hope you enjoyed your little bit too.
I'm sure he did.
Adopting a healthy lifestyle wasn't easy for Justin, who had a shockingly tragic first weigh-in. Hoping his weight would be in the upper 500s or lower 600s at least, he was devastated when the scale showed 687.5 pounds. It was far from the goal weight he had in mind. At just 27 years old, Justin was struggling. Because of his size, he could no longer go to an office to work. He developed debilitating anxiety and agoraphobia, and had all of his food delivered so he didn't have to go outside.
It's hard to describe, but it's like even my bones hurt at times. And I know it's because my body is starting to break down because of all the weight I've had on it for so long. I know I'm not gonna live for much longer if I keep doing this. So I'm terrified right now, because I know there's a good chance I could go to sleep one night and just not wake up.
Realizing he needed to turn things around, Justin reached out to the renowned DR. Now, imagine struggling to fit into a rental car to make your way to the doctor's office. But that's exactly what Justin did, and it marked the beginning of his transformation. Dr. Now's no-nonsense approach was exactly what Justin needed. Despite the tough love and brutal honesty, Justin persevered. It wasn't easy, but 2 years later, after undergoing weight loss surgery, he became one of the most successful patients ever featured on the show.
You eat at home or you eat out?
I eat at home.
So who cooks?
I'll cook for myself. I have groceries delivered.
What do you mean groceries delivered? You can't go and buy your own groceries?
I'm not able to walk around long enough. to
How much
actually
you
go
can
through a
walk?
grocery store. A few minutes, tops.
Who else lives in your household?
I live alone, but my mom comes over to help me out.
Does your mom bring you food now?
Yeah.
So she's your neighbor now. And that combined with your emotional...
Now, at 30 years old, Justin has lost more than 450 pounds. Can you believe that? His journey is a testament to what determination and the right support can achieve. It's incredible to think about the physical and emotional mountains he had to climb. Watching Justin's story, it's clear that Dr. Now's tough love, while ruthless at times, can lead to truly life-changing results.
Very proud of Justin and all the progress he has made over the past year. He's done great, and he's been one of the most determined and hardworking weight loss patients I have ever had. And as long as he continues going to therapy and working through his emotional issues, I'm very confident he's going to make it to his target weight soon, and then be able to do this for the long term.